welcome to criticism. And also, welcome to the first ever special of criticism. That's right. We've got a two-parter episode for you today. And for this special episode, for this moment, I'm going to talk about a show that I've been a huge fan of for about probably half of my life. And the crazy thing is that I didn't actually watch every episode of this show until like near the end of 2024. Like, I'm glad I actually did watch it all the way through because it's an actual like all-time best show if we're talking like comedy-wise. Like, this show is comedy gold. It's like actually funny. So many good episodes. The animation's just brilliant. There's just so many amazing episodes and amazing moments in this show. It's just, I had to make a special just talking about this, just going over my favorite episodes. So, for the season 1 special, the first time I ever made an episode like this, like for this special moment, like the very first time that I make a special, I'm going to talk about Animaniacs. Specifically, in this part, I'm going to go over my top 20 best segments, the top 5 worst segments, and my thoughts on the reboots. We'll get to that later, though. And also, I'll let you guys know what part 2 of this special will be about later on in the episode, probably near the end. However, for now, let's begin with the top 20 best segments in the show. Starting with some honorable mentions. And first up, we have Plain Pals from season 1, episode 22. This episode probably has one of the most pissed off, angry characters this show has ever written. Ivan is a total ass in this episode. The Warners obviously troll the hell out of him in this whole episode, which is deserving. They do it so much that it drives him to just leave the plane at the end. Like, he jumps out of the plane at the end. I'm not going to spoil what happens after that, but it's a great watch, but not in my top 20. Next up is A Gift of Gold from season 1, episode 55. This is probably one of the most interesting ideas that I've ever seen for an episode. Like, first off, it's narrated by Jim Cummings. You know, the voice of Winnie the Pooh. He even does that voice over the whole episode. He does the whole Winnie the Pooh voice in the entire episode. The whole episode. And secondly, it's an episode about wrapping paper. I'm not making that up. Specifically, gold wrapping paper. In the gift shop that the wrapping paper comes from, the other wrapping paper are like jealous of the gold one because everyone always uses the gold wrapping paper and not the other options. And we pretty much see the entire journey of one gift's wrapping paper. Like, it starts at the gift shop, and then it ends up getting torn to shreds, and then the torn paper gets thrown away in the garbage can, which we see it travel from the garbage can to getting blown away into some city streets. And it's also somewhat of a commentary on, like, littering, kinda. Which was completely unexpected from this episode. I actually recommend you watch this episode because the ending's, like, really wholesome, actually. Despite the plot sounding goofy at first, it's like, it's weird. It's such a random episode, but despite how good this episode is, it somehow managed to dodge my top 20. But, like, it's almost top 20. Like, this would be in my top 25 if I did a top 25, but I didn't. I'm sticking to top 20. You know what, I think I'll do a couple more before the actual list. Next up is Frontier Slappy from season 1, episode 55. Daniel Boone was a great big jerk. Yeah. This episode's absolutely an honorable mention. probably one of the funniest Slappy episodes. Maybe. I don't know, because there are some really funny ones, but this is probably the funniest. It's just Daniel trying to cut down Slappy's tree, but in between every cut down attempt, the Dover boys start like trash talking him. They start like trash talking his plan too, which is really funny. There's even a fourth wall break where it's confirmed that he can hear them, despite the fact that they aren't on screen at all. Like the Dover boys are singing off screen, but he can hear them. He fires them, and it's just so good, and somehow still not in my top 20. But like the last entry, this one would probably be in my top 25. Next up is Bully for Skippy from Season 5, Episode 2. There's not really too much to say about this one. It's just an episode where the FCC, I think, tells Slappy that she needs to make less violent cartoons, so she has to build this machine that does violence in a way so that the violence happens off screen while Skippy deals with Duke, who is a bully that's just a punching bag for like the second half of the episode. It's not bad, and it's surprisingly good for being a late episode because, you know, from seasons 3 to 5, like some fans think it's the worst. Where I think the whole show is like equally as good. For the entirety of the show's run, I think the whole show is like amazing. It's like good from seasons 1 through 5, not just 1 and 2. No, 1 through 5 is really good. And this episode's a good example of, you know, there being good segments in the later years of the show. But yeah. But anyway, second to last up is Dodo Boys from season 1, episode 37. And speaking of underrated episodes, on IMDb, this freaking episode, the full episode this segment is in, is from one of the lowest rated episodes of the show. And I disagree with that. The overall episode is a 7.5. Dodo Boys is a perfectly fine Goodfeather segment. It's actually more funny than I think most people would give it credit for, honestly. I don't really understand all the hate at all that this one gets, honestly. And last but not least is Karaoke Dokie from season 1, episode 60. This is a hilarious one. It's literally, it's about a guy who talks like William Shatner from Star Trek, just singing karaoke, and the Warners are making fun of him, trying to speed his act up so they can have a turn to sing. And it's possibly one of the funniest episodes they've ever done, and yet it somehow didn't even make my list. However, it was close though. It was really damn close. I'm not even gonna lie. I was gonna put it on here, but there's more that I personally think are better than Karaoke Dokie. And speaking of that, this concludes the honorable mentions for best segments in the show. Now, we are on to the actual list, starting with number 20, Chairman of the Board from Season 1, Episode 32. Do not mention cheese balls around Pip. That's all I'm going to say about that. However, this episode's really funny. Like, Yakko just said a few words to him about cheese balls. Like, it took him like 4 seconds to say that line. And then Pip just goes on a tyrant of how he met Bob Barker because he was eating a sandwich that had cheese balls in it. He literally follows them around. Like, they leave where they were currently at. I don't remember where they were at, but he follows them onto the bus, into the water tower, just to tell them the story. It's all done in a really goofy way, and I couldn't not put it on the list, you know? Really good. Number 19, Critical Condition from Season 1, Episode 36. This could be a top 5 Slappy moment. I think I have more, spoiler alert, I think I have way more Slappy segments on this list, but this could be a top 5. It might be, because this one's crazy. This one's about Hiskel and Egbert talking about a Looney Tunes Laserdisc collection and being like, all these characters have their place in animation history, but then they talk about Slappy, who's on the Laserdisc cover for some reason. They talk about how they hate her and her cartoons, and they're like, man, she's one of the unfunniest cartoon characters in animation history. She's just not funny. She never made a funny cartoon in her life. And as they're saying these things, she's visibly getting, like, punched, like, knocked back, kicked back. Like, the words are literally retaliating. That is so funny. So then Slappy and Skippy decide to literally go to war with them. And by that, I mean literally blow their fucking house up. I'm not making that up. She literally launches a fucking nuke to Hiskel and Egbert's house. Literally attempted to kill them, but they weren't even there at the time they did that. I think they were getting like food, if I remember. So Slappy and Skippy go to a theater where a new movie that Hiskel and Egbert were gonna watch, and chaos ensues. I'm not gonna spoil much in the second half, but just know this deserves a top 20 spot. Number 18, Fair Game from Season 1, Episode 40. This episode's absolute peak. It's just a game show episode, but the writers made it fun, you know? It's not really being serious at all. They already made Win Big, which was the Pinky and the Brain game show episode. That one was great, but this one's better, in my opinion. The winners basically just dodge answering any questions that Ned asks in this. There's even some funny quotables in this one. Why are you acting like this? We're not acting, we really are like this. Isaac Newtwicht. Isaac Newt Anvil is so good. Amazing episode. Probably a 9 out of 10. Maybe a mid 9. Maybe a strong 9 out of 10 on this one. Crazy. If I had to give it a score, that's what I'd give it, but yeah. Number 17, The Boo Network from Season 4, Episode 7. You know, Chicken Boo gets a lot of hate when it comes to this show. And after watching the entirety of the entire show front to back, I don't agree that he and his segments are some of the worst this show had to offer. Like, there were some really good ones that came from Chicken Boo. Like this one, The Boo Network. It's just a short episode where Chicken Boo is dressed as a businessman, and Mr. Plotz hires him as the leader of a new network because their ratings were like down, and they hired Chicken Boo to raise it up. But the kicker is that all the shows that he greenlights are all chicken themed. Underrated. Give this one a watch. Number 16, Panama Canal from Season 3, Episode 13. And really, I could have put a decent chunk of Season 3, Episode 13, like by itself on this list. Yet, I decided that Panama Canal was the song from that episode to make it to my list. This is a fucking amazing song in this show. It might be a top 5 song in this show. Maybe top 3. Maybe. Possibly my favorite song. Yeah, probably not. I think there's another one in the list. I don't know what the fuck that voice I just did there was. But it's super catchy. The visuals that accompany it are perfect. Just overall a great song. This show does have some banger songs in it, though. Can't even lie, truly. Oh, like this next one. Hold up. I didn't even realize that. Number 15, You and Me from Season 3, Episode 3. Not 13. It's not from the same episode, but another one of my favorite songs in this show. It's really short, but it's really catchy. Like, it's sung in the tune of Down by the Riverside. And it's a really great track. Like, it's just a song about the United Nations. That's it. But I had to throw it in here because I think it's a truly underappreciated song. So I think it truly deserves the top 15 episode spot, even though it's a song. But I'm still gonna count songs in here. Number 14, Macbeth from season 1, episode 62. Now, this might seem like a random entry, but listen, I've got a hell of a lot of nostalgia with this one. Like, I played this episode to hell and back. No pun intended. A lot back in the day. It's just a really weird rendition of the Three Witches scene from Macbeth, and it's just so random. Like, they say the ingredients of whatever the heck they're making, and at one point Yakko randomly says that those are the ingredients of a hot dog. Like, what? Really funny. Really funny segment, which is part of what I guess you could call a Halloween episode. It kind of is. It's kind of more spooky. Like, the whole episode's kind of spooky, but, like, I don't know. It's a pretty good underrated segment. But I've got a lot of nostalgia with this episode. That's why I'm putting it, like, on my top 20. Up next is number 13, The Christmas Tree from season 5, episode 7. Another Slappy segment, and this one's even better. We've got an episode where Slappy and Skippy are living in the middle of the forest, usually, obviously, and then this random guy, comes out of nowhere, decides that her tree is the one that they need for decoration at their skating rink in New York City. So yeah, inevitably, Slappy gets sick of the noise because, again, she's trying to sleep. They're literally trying to sleep. Wait, did I mention that they were sleeping? I don't think I did. But yeah, she's trying to sleep. So near the end of the episode, she waltzes on over to the owner because I think someone told her, like, just before in the episode, maybe even just moments before, where he works at. She goes to the owner, tells him to put her tree back where it belongs. He doesn't budge, so she takes matters into her own hands. In the first time that I watched this, I was genuinely blown away. She takes this man's house with the help of a fucking bulldozer and moves his house, straight up pushes his house to the middle of the streets of New York City. And then people barge into his house, stealing his food, and then he goes outside, and Slappy is on one of those big screens on one of those towers, which is conveniently facing the front door to his house. Like, she knew he'd be outside quickly when he figured that out. Like, before he wakes up, you can hear, like, cars honking. It is hilarious. The first time I watched this, I was blown away. Also, how in the world did she get permission to do all that? Like, how? But fucking outstanding episode. I would put it in the top 10, but I think there's a couple more that are absolutely amazing. Like number 12, The Brain's Apprentice from season 5, episode 8. It's crazy how these two entries are right next to each other, because the last entry was from season 5, episode 7. In this one, The Brain's Apprentice is from the very next episode. And this one's better. And probably one of my favorite Pinky and the Brain segments. I'll even maybe take a couple of stabs in the heart, or, like, gunshots for saying that this is one of the best ones, but... And also, I just realized that... Wait, hold up. Wait a minute. Break. This is a silent episode. This is a silent episode in the show. This is about Brain having a bunch of small robots, but he can't get them to work for some reason. So he leaves to, I guess, maybe figure out what the problem is. And then Pinky comes out of nowhere. He messes with the same machine and somehow manages to get the robots to work. And Pinky messes with them a bit. Like, he does, like, pirouette type shit. Like, he's doing, like, some ballerina type shit. And I believe one of the robots accidentally hits the switch that makes them do the task that Brain wanted the robots to do. I don't know what it's called, but I think they flip that switch because they start leaving Acme Labs to take control of some tanks somehow, make their way over to the White House, and force the president to sign a treaty telling the president to surrender to the Brain. And then as that's going on, Brain realizes that the machine's still on, and he switches it off. Just seconds before the president signed the treaty, he was super close to taking over the world in that episode. He is so close in this episode to taking over the world. It was crazy. This episode's great. I don't have any words to say other than fantastic. Absolute cinema. Number 11, Baghdad Cafe from Season 1, Episode 35. This segment comes from the... Sorry, I had to check something real quick. But yeah, like I said, number 11, Baghdad Cafe from Season 1, Episode 35. Just repeating myself, just to be sure. This segment comes from the Animaniacs Stew episode and is the final segment in that episode. This one's about the Warners, minus Dot, who got replaced by Slappy, because it's the Stew episode. They're like mixing up characters in this one. It's like the whole gimmick of this one. They think they've arrived at a cafe, which is owned by So Darn Insane, which is a parody of Saddam Hussein, who, might I add, was still alive by the time this episode aired. How did they get away with this? Huh? That's blasphemy. This episode is fucking nuts. Like, Yakko and Wacko are making a mockery of the guy, and then you've got Slappy trying to do her lines, and then, not even joking, she just gives up. This episode's got really funny lines in it too. Such a classic. I had to put it on the list. But yeah, I apologize for that pause that I did earlier. I had to check something. We're good now. But moving on. We are now on the second half of the list. Number 10. Bumby's Mom from Season 1, Episode 8. Once again, more Slappy. What can I say? The writers cook when it's a Slappy episode, apparently. Also, this is a nostalgic one as well. I can't even lie. This one's about Skippy watching a Bambi parody called Bumby, the Dearest Dear, which that character's mother dies, and Skippy thinks it's real, and Slappy tells him she's just a cartoon, she's not really dead, she was just acting. Skippy doesn't believe her, so she takes him on a flight to go see Vina, the actor of the mother that died in the film, and they're actually pals. Like, it's canon that they're like friends in the show. And after they talk for a bit, after they go to her house, the Roadrunner and I think Wile E. Coyote make a cameo for some reason. They're just there. And when they get to her house, they talk for a bit. Skippy's still not convinced that it's her, so Vina shows Skippy that she was the actor and that she's still well alive, obviously. He's satisfied, so they fly back. They go on a plane, they fly back, and the movie the plane decides to show is Old Yeller. If you know, you know. Hilarious episode, and it's easily a top 10 segment from this show. Easily. Number 9, Clownin' Out from Season 1, Episode 34. Yes, the clown abuse episode, I know. It's a classic, though. I had to put it on here. It's another nostalgic episode, too, but I couldn't stop myself putting it on the list. I really couldn't. And in this episode, it's Wacko's birthday, and there's a clown in town who is really the director. I don't know why he's there and why he's in a clown outfit. I don't know. He's just there. And Mr. Plotz finds out from Scratch's sniff that Wacko's afraid of clowns. So Plots hires the clown, which again is the director, if you even know who that is in the show, to be fair, to visit Wacko. And during the whole thing, the Warners are trying to play hide and seek. And at the end, the very end, Wacko tricks him to getting into a real rocket that he shoots into Mars just to get rid of him. And I could be wrong. This is like the last time we see the director until like season 3, like the very end of season 3. I could be wrong, but I think this is the last time we see the director until the very end of season 3, like the last segment of season 3. Crazy. But this episode, absolute classic. Great episode. Deserves to be in the top 10. Number 8, which is another song. Variety Speak from season 3, episode 2. I had to put this here too. I had to put this one on here. Another season 3 song, which is a gosh darn banger. It's a simple song, but it's ungodly catchy. It's basically just a song about the Variety magazine headlines, but they didn't have to make it so damn good. It's so catchy. They didn't have to. But they did. This one might actually be a top 3 song in this show. It might be. I don't have too much to say about it, besides the fact that it's a banger. It's a fucking bop. I don't know what to say, but amazing. Number 7. Yabba Dabba Boo from season 3, episode 9. Haven't had a Chicken Boo episode in a while. But we have another one. We have this one, which is about Chicken Boo being a part of a script read for a Flintstones movie, I believe. And after every line, they gotta think of something to say so it's funny. So they go to Boo. Hold up. My bad. I had to check something again. But, you know, that's just the thing about my show. It's all over the place. I do these episodes in damn near one take, if basically not one take, but anyway. Repeating what I just said, we're on number 7, Yabba Dabba Boo, from season 3, episode 9. And again, we have another Chicken Boo episode, and this one is about Chicken Boo being a part of a script read for a Flintstones movie, like I said, but after every line, they gotta think of something funny to say after every line, so they go to Boo to hear what he has to say. So he does his iconic bacaw thing, and the people just die of laughter. Literally. It's the running gag of the whole episode, and it's what makes it so fucking great. Actually watch this one. Like the whole episode this one's from. It's really good. It's an actual banger. Now, moving on, finally, I know, to number 6. One Flew Over the Cuckoo Clock from season 4, episode 1. I'm not joking. I believe that this is the only episode in the entire show that completely removes the actual theme song. Like the song that you hear in literally 98% of the show gets rid of it and replaces it with the Slappy theme song, because this one's an entirely Slappy episode. There's no cameos. It's just a Slappy episode. And what an episode this is. It's a more serious, for the most part, episode where Slappy, I believe, gets dementia after watching some talk shows. I don't know. It's very random. And Skippy comes home one night and Slappy's just toasting her hat, just cooking her hat. And he's like, what the heck is going on? So he takes her to the hospital, and unfortunately she has to stay at that hospital. Skippy's hoping she gets better, so he visits her every day in that hospital at 3 o'clock sharp. That's not all of it. I'm not really going to spoil too much, but it's a really underrated episode. I understand why it's a somewhat hated episode, but I think it's great. I find a lot of enjoyment out of this one. There's a lot of really great moments on here. Overall, this is definitely a top 10 episode for me. But again, I get why it's hated, but I just think it's great. Number 5, No Face Like Home No Face Like Home from season 1, episode 4. And I know there's a lot of sloppy segments on my list. However, this is, spoiler alert, the final one. This is my favorite Slappy segment. Easily. This one's about Slappy wanting to get plastic surgery on her face so that she's more, what do you want to call it, like marketable for TV, because she's like canonically in the show, like she's in her 80s, clearly past her prime, I guess, if you want to say that. And modern cartoons have like cleaner looks, if you want to say that. So she goes to a plastic surgeon to fix that problem, only for Walter Wolf, her enemy by the way, to somehow find out that she's there and decides to mess her face up even more. And spoiler alert, it doesn't work. In fact, it backfires on him actually. But I'm not going to spoil that. This episode also takes place next to a golf course. There is a plastic surgery clinic built next to a golf course. I think they built that plastic surgery clinic to make money off of the golf balls that they plummet at people's faces. I think they do it on purpose. I think they built that surgery clinic next to the golf course on purpose, just to make more money. Just a little theory that I had cooked up with this episode recently. However, it's easily a top 5. Easily a top 5. 100%. Easily. Moving on to the final stretch, number 4. The Scoring Sessions, Season 5, Episode 9. The Scoring Sessions from Season 5, Episode 9. One of the last segments in the entire show. And it's one of the best. It's literally like 95% of the characters from this show. Even the Bluebeard that appears a few times before this episode makes a cameo, just composing an episode because the actual composer, Randy, was sick that day. I wonder if that was true when they made that episode. I feel like it wasn't. Maybe, I don't know, when they made that episode. I wonder if that was true. I don't know. I doubt it though, but that'd be kind of funny though. I think it's a really great idea for an episode. Even better when it's quite literally the last episode of the show. Almost everyone shows up in this episode. That's not even a joke. Perfect segment right before the actual last segment, which is just a 7.5, I believe, minute like musical, which is just a kind of a clip show of every other episode in the show. Which, you know what? I'll make that a bonus honorable mention, because that's pretty good too. However, we're moving on to not season 3. However, this next one is a season 3 episode. Number 3, Gunga Dot from season 3, episode 11. And, okay, yeah, this is another episode that's really random, just putting it on a top 20 segments list. Also, let alone top 3, but it's here for nostalgia reasons. I played this one to death back in the day too. It's just a top 3 for me. I don't know, it's an episode that's done entirely in rhyme, which this show's done a few times, but I think this one might be my favorite. This show's done it a couple times. There was a baseball episode that was revolved around it. I think there was another one, I believe, but I can't remember it off the top of my head right now. And this one's just about Dot just getting verbally abused by everyone, basically, because there's no water to swim in, because it's like a really hot day or some shit. I think they're in like the desert, like I don't remember the location, because yeah, even though I've literally watched and listened to this episode because I had it on like a CD back in the day. And even then, I still don't remember. I think it's I don't fucking know. But while that's happening, while the verbal abuse is happening, we have Pinky and the Brain putting 2 sponges in a river with a bulldozer, raising it up. The bulldozer like drops the fucking sponges, like it breaks. Mission failed. And then we cut to Dot just snapping, telling everyone she lives in a water tower, and pulls the handle that releases the water. Which, according to the episode, she invented, like, she started the Indian Ocean, like, with that lever pull. She formed it, apparently. What? Which, now that I think about it, why didn't she just do that at the beginning of the episode? Like, if you could have done that at the beginning, maybe it wasn't on the mind at the start. I don't know. It's very questionable, but I've got a lot of nostalgia with this episode, which is why I'm putting it this high on here. Oh, shoot. Speaking of more nostalgia, we've got number 2. General Beauregard, Season 1, Episode 37. General Beauregard from Season 1, Episode 37. My absolute favorite Chicken Boo episode. It's not even a question. It's really nostalgic, again, but it's fucking amazing. Despite how short of a segment it is. Gunga Di was a short segment too, but this one's even shorter. It's just about Boo being a general for the army. That's literally it. There's not much to it. And the only thing that I don't like about this one is the opposition human designs. It's weird. They're so weird. Why do they look like that? They're so jarring compared to the ones that appear for like 95% of the episode. Like, that's literally it, though. That's the only meh thing. Not bad. It's just, why do they look like that? Only downside, and it's not even a bad thing. Like, 10 out of 10 episode right here. However, not my favorite episode, because now we have number 1. My favorite Animaniacs episode, original Animaniacs episode, is number 1. Pause for dramatic effect. Hooray for North Hollywood from Season 5, Episodes 4 and 5. We made it. The Animaniacs episode that's at least worth a watch or two. And it's a 2-parter as well. The only time they've actually done this, and I think for the most part, they hit it out of the park with this one. So this special is about the Warners. They write a movie. The Warners write a movie. They make their own movie. They go to plots to see, like a script, They don't actually make a movie. They write the script to the movie. They go to plots to see if he'll approve of it. He doesn't, of course. So they go to a gala to find a director who's willing to make their movie. And they actually do. The new director, not plots, makes the movie. It's a smash hit. Super popular movie. Plots is in like disbelief because he turned it down, and it was an expensive movie. Like, they required like hundreds of millions, I believe, of dollars to make this movie. And I believe it grossed in the billions. I'm gonna just put like that in my headcanon, because at the end of part 2, at the end of episode 5, they are literally laying on a pile of money. Just there. They're just laying on a pile of money. And then at that moment, they realize they missed plots just yelling at them. So what do? They goddamn kidnap him. When I watched that scene for the first time, my jaw was on the floor. So unexpected. Why did they do it like that? Why? Then it ends with plots being brought to the Warner Studio New Year's party, because this episode also takes place around New Year's Eve, around that week of New Year's Eve. And then they sing one last song, which I forgot to mention. This episode is a musical. And it's like damn near every song is like really good. Like, wow. Almost every song. Not all of them, but a decent chunk of them are pretty good. And then the episode just ends with, like, they party. They have a party. They sing a song. And then the episode ends with the Good Feathers just arguing over the nice guy. Absolute cinema. Peak. Actual 10 out of 10. This is a must-watch if you want to get into the show. Or at least what I put in my top 10 segments. Or top 20 if you want. But for me, I'd recommend, like, a good chunk of what's in my top 10 list, like, personally. Which, yeah, that's my top 20 favorite segments of the original Animaniacs. Now, unfortunately, just like every other show imaginable, it does have a few misses, or at least these 5 segments are weaker than the usual peak that you get from the show. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna have too much to say about the worst of the show because they're not even that bad. They're perfectly fine. Like if they were from like your generic show, they'd be like your middle of the road episodes. But for this show, these are weaker than the usual. Starting with Oh Silly Mio, number 5, Oh Silly Mio from season 1, episode 31. Again, it's this one's not bad. It's just very forgettable for most of it. I don't really remember too much from it, but it's got funny moments here and there. I won't lie. But overall, it's just an episode. That's it. It just kind of exists, and it's perfectly fine. There's nothing really wrong with it. But they've made so many better segments than this one, specifically. They have more better segments than this one. Number 4, Can't Buy a Thrill from season 1, episode 42. Fun fact, this is the lowest rated episode of the show on IMDb. It's currently, as of me recording this and publishing it and putting the episode out and airing it, it's sitting at a score of a 7.2. That's the lowest this show goes. I'm not even joking. But again, this one's not bad. It's just meh. Just forgettable. Also, the very first time that the Hip Hippos actually made an appearance on the list, which most fans argue actually are the worst characters in this show, and usually have the worst segments in the show. And unfortunately for some segments, yeah, it's kind of true on a few segments. Not all of them, not every single one's bad. They've got some decent ones. Just nothing too crazy, but this one's just forgettable. Not even a bad episode. It's just, what am I watching? It's not terrible, it's just like, why does this exist? But it's not bad though. Number 3, Katie Kaboo from season 1, episode 35. Katie Kaboom is another character that most fans wouldn't necessarily argue is an awful character, like the worst character from the show, maybe even. And coming from someone who's actually watched the entire show, yes, Katie Kaboom is the worst character from the show, bar none. But this episode, this segment's just whatever. Like it's fine, I guess. It's just kind of meh. It's just an episode where Katie brings Boo home for some reason, and her parents are rightfully questioning it, and she just snaps. I can't snap on my left hand. She just snaps. Which she does in every episode. That's like the whole gimmick with her. And I know this was actually the first one they ever made with Katie Kaboom, but it's not the best thing this show has done. Not even close. Much like number 2, Katie Kaboom, The Blemish, from season 2, episode 4. Which this is the first and only time that season 2 will appear on these lists. Season 2 was an alright season from the original. It's literally 4 episodes. It's 4 episodes long. You can watch the entire season in like an hour and a half. But it's definitely the weakest out of the 5 seasons. This segment doesn't help its case at all in being the weakest season in the show, in the original show. This is a very not that great segment at all. And only because of the way they drew that blemish. It like she flicks it at one point. It's so gross. What is that? And also the somewhat predictable joke of Katie basically just destroying the house, which she pretty much does this in almost every segment. This is the second to worst segment, easily. Easily. Now, the worst segment in the original Animaniacs is number 1, Pitter Patter of Little Feet from season 4, episode 8. Pitter patter of Little Feet from season 4, episode 8. Doesn't even sound real. Doesn't even sound like it's a real episode, but yep, the very end of season 4 has one of the worst things. And it's right before season 5, which is one of my favorite seasons from the show. I don't know if it's the best season. It could be. But, like, it's this segment that I'm about to talk about, it's right before that 9-episode run. But, yeah, it's also a Hip Hippo segment. And it's the worst thing that this show's done, in my opinion. It's literally just an episode where a pelican delivers Brain to the wrong house. Which was the Hip Hippo's house, by the way. He was supposed to be brought, the Brain was supposed to be brought to a rich family's house to use their riches to take over the world, I guess. Which, by the way, Pinky isn't even in this episode. It doesn't even cameo. It's just Flavio, Marita, and Brain. That's literally it. The Hippos have Brain, they take Brain to the doctor for some reason. They have Brain for some reason. They take him to the doctor. They give him his shots. They take him back home, they feed him, and then they realize, like, the news comes on, and they realize that, wait, we've got the wrong baby. Because their actual baby got delivered